Space, the final frontier. This is a review show for Star Trek The Next Generation. Its continuing mission to explore interesting plot points, to seek out goofs and continuity errors, to boldly go where no other TNG review show has gone before. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's the TNG Review Show. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It is the TNG Review Show. We're back, consigning another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation to our vault. I'm joined this evening by my co-host, Tommykins Turner, and Chief Sean. Good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, we have no Mazza McBob this evening. She's away visiting family and a pre-Christmas presents distributing family up the line. So, yes, no Mazza McBob. She may be popping her head into live chat later on if she can to say hello while she's out at a restaurant. But yes, we're still here with you with another episode of Star Trek. And to start us off, how was your week, Tavykins?
Very good. And today I'm super happy because this morning I took my last exam for my certification in industrial cleaning.
Oh.
So I won't be a tradesman soon, but we'll see.
Well,
but I'm happy to have it done.
We can all give you a round of applause for finishing your exams. So, well done, Tammy. Congratulations. And Chief Sean, how's your week going?
Yeah, very busy. Just back from Newbridge. I was in the office today. So up since 5:30, so apologies if I look a bit sleepy because I am. But I managed to get the valuation done in my house, which means everything is done except for the stuff the solicitor does. So there's literally nothing else for me to do other than give him money and sign forms.
Oh, can't wait. Can't wait. I bet you can't wait.
I really look forward to giving away 15 grand in one go.
Here you go. Have all my money.
It's like it's only took me years of sacrifice to put together, but just take it. Just go, here you go. Gone in 20 minutes.
You will get some paperwork for that 15 grand. You'll get a nice letter and the certificate and stuff like that, you know.
And a set of keys to a house that I still have
Yeah.
to pay for years.
Yeah. Good evening to everyone in live chat. Good evening to Trailblazer. Good evening to you, sir. I haven't seen you for a while in inside live chat. It's good to have you here. Wookie. Good evening to you, sir. Do you want to give us a customary Wookiee greeting, Sean? I tried to do it the other week when you weren't around.
Yeah, I watched it
absolutely
back. It was,
failed miserably.
Needs work. Like, hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I gave him the X-wing. I have the Millennium Falcon.
It was abysmal. It was abysmal. There he is. There he is.
Wrong way.
Good evening, my beautiful wrench, Smiler Rainbow. She's had some bad times this week. Unfortunately, someone crashed into her car outside her work this week. So, yes.
She wasn't in it.
No, so our car's been a bit... it's been a bit damaged. So that's off to the car hospital for a few weeks. But she has a nice Ford Cougar rental car, which is quite nice. But it's just been a bit of a pain.
It's always inconvenience, even when you get stuff like a rental car and everything.
Yeah.
Just the logistics of it all.
Yes, indeed. But
Do you have your tree up yet?
No, it will not go up until the 1st of December. We're very strict with this.
I respect that. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure it'll really spruce the place up.
Spruce tree.
There we go.
Yes.
We're getting some bingos tonight.
I will say that I have got my tree up. It is up already. The decorations are up. Only because it's coming up this weekend. It's always Alex's birthday weekend, so we don't have time to do decorations at the beginning of December, so I have to get it up a little early to avoid Alex. So yes, it's already up. So yes, good evening, Smiler Rainbow. I hope you have a lovely evening. Good evening to, I've said Wookie. Good evening, Stuplum. I hope you are fighting fit today. He's had an afternoon looking after Chewie, so he's probably tired out after running around after a little Cocker Spaniel this afternoon. And no Ruth. Oh, Ruth's not here this evening, is she? Ruth is away, I think. So yes, well, good evening. Good evening to everyone. This evening, we're here to review, talk about, discuss episode 24 of season 6, Second Chances. Production number 40276-250. 250. It first aired in the US on the 24th of May 1993 and was the 149th episode to be both produced and released. The teleplay was by Rene Echeverria. This is 10th of 18. The original story was by Michael Medlock, and this is his one and only Star Trek writing credit. Couldn't find anything else interesting about him. And it was directed by LeVar Burton, whom we know as, of course, Geordie LaForge. And interestingly,
it's a good one for him to direct. I mean,
he's
barely in it.
It was his first directing credit, I think. It was his first directing credit of Star Trek. I think it's one of his like his directorial debut. So there you go.
He really got a trial by fire with this one, having to depict duplicate actors in the scene adds a bit on top of,
Well, you've got to have a lot of forethought, haven't you, of how you want to how the thing has to look at the end and get everything right on the first shots. So yeah, it's quite complicated. So, well, given that, I think he had a good first shot at it. The next episode. Sorry, go on, Sean.
Sorry, okay, I was going to say, do you know the film that perfected the kind of duplicate with the moving camera?
The film.
No.
There was a couple of Martin J. Foxes in it. That might help you.
Oh, Back to the Future. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They originated the idea of a computer controlled camera so that they could repeat shots. So that they could do, because before that you can only do a split screen without the camera moving.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean, are you able to turn the volume up on your mic? We've got a comment saying that it's a little difficult to hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can turn that up there, and I can hold on. Probably a bit far away. Audio. Okay, I'll turn that off. That might be help. I should be louder now.
Yes, sounds great. What are you drinking this evening, Sean?
Everything's wine these days.
It's wines. So posh, it's
Wines.
wine.
Well, I have a cornflakes. Let's have some wine. Sangre de Toro, it's called.
Well,
One that comes with a little. Sorry, I'm holding it the wrong way. Comes with a little bull attached to the
wow.
The foil. Blood of the bull, as it's called in English.
Wookie says this week he's been making warped songs about Star Trek and stuff using AI. I never know whether what Wookie's saying is true or whether he's just pulling my leg.
Yeah, I would highly recommend the work of Star Rect or EKT, like Trek Backwards.
Yeah.
If you Livin' La Vida Lorca, I Kissed a Borg and I Liked It. I Want a Janeway, all the hits. He does.
'Cause I want a Janeway. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Mazima Bob is in the chat. She's pointing out we've been making Red Dwarf references with our wine. for Chief.
It's fun not to tell Tabby and let them just go over her head.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, they're saying stuff, but maybe that's from something, but I don't know.
I did use ChatGPT to make a poem about an episode, and Tammykins looked absolutely disgusted with me for doing so I never did it again.
It was horrible.
That's quite funny. Yeah. This is the first of 2 episodes LeVar Burton directed. The second one was the Pegasus. Yes. Oh, good evening, G-Star.
Interesting, 2 Riker episodes.
Yeah. G-Star, are you up for the Monty Zone on Friday? If so, I'll plug it. I'll plug away. If I cough this evening, I do apologise. I have bad asthma this week, and I have a bit of a cough. So just excuse me for that. Oh,
yeah, I had that for a few weeks. I think the damp air just gets in your lungs, doesn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it's just that time of year. This Friday,
really
yes, Jim. Yeah.
Well, not this week, but the last few weeks it has been, yeah.
Oh.
I mean, geographically, we're different islands, but I'm not that geographically that far from Monty. I'm closer to you than I am to Donegal.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Yes. Okay, so, teaser then. Let's get on. You probably want me to put a picture up, don't you? That would be a good thing to do to start off with. I have snuck some data pictures in this evening. Just it's a little bit data light, but just for Tavikins. I didn't want her to freak out, so put a couple of data pictures in here somewhere.
Ooh, start off with a D pic. We've seen this one before.
Oh yes, the rear end of the Enterprise. I do like a good rear end shot. There we go. G's up for the Monty Zone on Friday. So tune into the Monty Zone on Friday. We don't know what it's going to be about, but we're going to do one anyway. So come in and join us for a general chat. I've got a couple of things actually. I've got a couple of things lined up. Okay.
What about,
sorry.
I was just going to say, well, maybe, I suppose you only do it once a month. The various different pagan and other holidays that to do with the solstice, and obviously Christmas was planted on top of it, Saturnalia and the Druidic ones. Be interesting.
You saying
Just as a
Christianity
pitch.
supplanted the the festivals that were already there? How could you say
Yeah,
such
yeah.
a thing?
The ancient history of the solstice and all that stuff. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
done one on that. Maybe that's a topic.
Yeah. Next, you're going to be telling me Easter supplanted the Spring Festival.
No, Jesus was a rabbit. Everybody knows
Everybody
that.
knows that. Yeah.
No.
Okay, so the teaser.
And a
then.
rabbit who laid eggs, of course.
Of course, it's eggs are an important part of Christianity. Yeah.
Yeah, as are rabbits.
Especially when they're coming out of rabbits.
Obvious. It's obvious. Okay.
Of course.
So back to Star Trek. The Enterprise is orbiting Nervala 4 and waiting to retrieve scientific data left there by researchers some 8 years ago. In 10 Forward, Riker's jazz band are entertaining the patrons. I don't know, entertaining or torturing. It's unclear. With Will leading with his trombone. Will always leads with his trombone. It's tragic. It's tragic. Yeah. So he asks the crowd what they want to play next, and Deanna requests Nightbird because she's a bitch, and she knows Will can never get through the solo part after 10 years of trying, so she just wants to torture him. The cow. And as no one else comes forward with another option, Will's got to go with it. So he steadies himself for the ritual humiliation. Dante's dropping shade. Yeah. But then Data comes to his rescue over comms, telling him he's needed in the bridge right away. So there's Riker looking thankful to the Data god above. So Riker heads to the bridge, and Data.
Woo!
I was waiting. Yeah, I should have left a pause there, shouldn't I? For
Oh my god, he's looking very silvery today, even though that's a gold hue, but metallic. But look at those lips. He's got that dewy look. I like this photo a lot. Continue. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, you're done. Yes. Is Marla? Maz has probably said hello to him from Marla. So yes, hello to everyone. Maz is with at the moment. Good evening to you all. So yes, Riker's headed to the bridge, and Data informs him they'll be able to beam down sooner than they thought because their transporters are a lot better than those from the USS Potemkin, who was the ship that originally rescued the scientists 8 years ago. Riker comments that that's a good thing because he nearly didn't make it back off the surface, telling us that he was on the Potemkin and was one of the ones leading the rescue mission. They will have several windows to beam down over the next couple of days, and then they will not be able to do it for another 8 years. So an away team of Riker, Data, Worf, and an unknown engineer beam down. Did anyone else think when these four beamed down that this random engineer in the background here was done for?
It's over. Over.
Although she's a goner.
Well, two things annoyed me. One, she's really small, so the staging of that shot is awkward when she's behind, Will Riker is 6'2" broadly. He's about nearly my size, and Michael Dorn's the same size, but he's out of shot. But they really, really had to work hard to frame her to barely get her in the shot. She looks like a child there. The other thing that annoyed me is there's a transporter pad right behind them, and they beam into the center of the room.
Yes, not on the transporter. No.
Maybe it's out of use, but I guess it's powered down. But it's clearly a transporter.
Yeah, it's the standard kind of science bridge kind of set that they use, where it's got a transporter built into the control room.
It's the Janolan science lab set that they're using all over season 6. Yeah.
But I did feel bad for her. But it's good to see, we got a female Asian actress here, so there was diversity targets even back in the early 1990s, which is good to see. That was a joke. So the away team are beamed down, and Riker immediately notices the mess that he'd left behind had been tidied up, and some repairs have been made. So Data picks up a humanoid heading their way on his tricorder, and it turns out to be a man who looks just like Riker, but wears yellow. And I shall name him Yellow Riker. And that's the end of the teaser.
Dum, dum, dum.
Dun, dun, dun. I just ended the teaser here on just a random Data shot just for Tabikins. But it is...
the lighting's good there.
It's question time. Oh, and good evening, Mr. Beard. Mr. Tabikins. Good evening, sir.
Beard.
I hope you're well.
So, what song does Deanna request? A. Someone to watch over me. B. The lady is a scamp. C. That old black magic. D. My bird. E. I kissed a Borg. And the bonus question.
Kissed a Borg, and I liked it.
Yeah, my sound clips are disabled at the moment, so I can't play that.
Oh, that's such a shame.
It's for the best.
Weeping.
Which? Yeah, hold on. Okay, play it now.
Yeah.
Which 90s sitcom title did Riker say as he left 10 forward? So he mentions the title of a show.
He did?
Well, I don't think he specifically said it on purpose. You know, he didn't go murder she
did.
wrote and walk out. But what he said, it could be interpreted as the title of a show.
Oh my god. Okay.
Oh, looks like it's me and Wookiee tonight then.
Ooh.
I'll take the pain.
Okay, well, I think I can do the first one. What era was the sitcom? 90s?
Very late 80s, well through the 90s. And it was a teenage thing.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I know. Oh, I've got it. I think.
By George, I think she's got it. Oh, yeah. I may have given you too much there.
And I will be attempting to fill in for Maja with goofs and trivia that I've picked up along the way. She was kind enough to send me some documents, but we're going to see how this goes.
Okay, what have you got for us then?
All right, we've got a few goofs. So at one point, Data refers to the star they're looking at as the sun, and we know that it's a star, not a sun, and our solar system is the sun as its name, and it would have been better referred to as a sun or star. So that's one thing. He's done it before in another episode, but a little space fact. The working title of this episode was supposed to be Too Many Rikers, but they changed that. And this episode has a follow-up in Deep Space Nine. I don't know if that's going to be part of the trivia.
There may be a question on the name of that episode. Yes.
Okay, so I will leave that in the fog.
You can talk about the episode. You just don't mention its name.
Well, that's all I'm putting there. The song that he plays in the band that she requests, Nightbird, that he plays before Nightbird is I Remember You. So that's written by Victor Schertzinger and Johnny Mercer. And though this version is instrumental, the lyrics of the song are remarkably apt to the Troy Riker thread. So if anyone knows that song, it's quite cool. It's said in IMDb that this is the 150th episode, and I'm wondering if they are meaning in addition to something else, because you mentioned an episode number.
Yeah, it is. It is the 150th episode.
All right.
The Memory Alpha counts All Good Things as one episode. So
okay.
It's technically registered as the 149th that's been produced and released, but if you count All Good, not All Good Things, sorry, the first Encounter at Farpoint. If you count Encounter at Farpoint as one episode, or if you count it as 2 episodes, sorry, it's 150. Yeah.
I would say the logic there is when it was originally aired, it was aired as a TV movie. You know, it was aired on one night. So as opposed to the other 2-parters were aired consecutive weeks.
I think from like production sheets and that as well, it was treated as one thing. It had one production number, you know, on like the boards and things, you know, they all have the same number.
It would do because it was a pilot, so it wouldn't make sense to have 2 because you're creating that and then you need to get greenlit through the series.
But then later on, it's played as 2 episodes, so it depends on how you look at it. It's either 149th or 150th.
All right. Riker's duplicate. His dilapidated uniform, when he's found, is in the style used by the Federation in season 1. So they did a callback to that, and this would imply that this style of uniform was in use at least 2 years before the start of TNG. And it also corresponded with Picard's memories of the Stargazer crew at the time of the Battle of Moxia in the episode The Battle, and also as well as Beverly's recollection of visiting Jake in the episode Body in Violations. So with both set in the 2350s, well before Riker's visit to Narvala 4. So that's some continuity they were doing there.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, should we have some answers then, Sean?
Yeah, I think we probably have a clean sweep on those. I may have started too early. So but I will ask you to talk you through the answers on the first one. It was, of course, Nightbird. Someone to watch over me. Do you remember what episode of Voyager that was?
Someone to watch. Nope.
It was the episode Someone to Watch Over Me.
Ah, genius.
Yeah, that's the one where the Doctor falls in love with Seven. The Lady is a Scamp. That's from late in DS9's run when Rom decides to audition for Vic, if you recall. It's The Lady's a Tramp normally, but he gets it wrong. That old Black Magic, again, that's the EMH singing that in the episode Virtuoso. And I Kiss a Borg is, of course, Star Wrecked.
Star Wrecked, yes.
So they all have some Trek roots. And Saved by the Bell, of course.
So who we got for the? We've got everybody. Well, not Ruth, because Ruth is not here.
No, so we got Trailblazer, Trailblazer, you, Monty, Stu Plum, and myself.
Tammy, Wookie, Monty,
Trailblazer. Black hole Wookie.
The black hole of Wookiness. Let's put a few more on. Right, let's spin the wheel. Oh, what a debutante on the board. Trailblazer got the points straight off the bat.
Yes.
Well done, Trailblazer. Congratulations on your bonus TNG points.
Oh, that says Tailblazer. That's a different guy.
Ah, it's a different. I misspelt. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, sorry, Trailblazer. Maybe next.
Bum deal.
Okay, Act 1. So, Yellow Riker introduces himself and tells them he was part of a rescue mission. And as he was the last one out, the distortion kicked in and stopped his transport signal. So he has been trapped there ever since. Our Riker's like, well, that's all fine, except for the fact that I was the one on that rescue mission. I was the last one to beam out, and I made it back just fine. Riker doesn't see how they can both be right. So they beam back to the Enterprise so the doc can check them out. It is a little bit like with these scenes. I mean, I think they did the, the duplicate thing reasonably well. You could tell they weren't exactly looking at each other, but it's quite clever how they must be both superimposed in the scene, because Riker walks around the back of him, looks at the back of him, and then walks around the front of him.
Oh, they do it with a plate. So what they do is they shoot it on the set, but when they have a green screen sat in the center of the set and they walk across that twice, and then obviously they compose them.
Splice it all together.
By having the green screen in and having a clean plate, 2 passes, then obviously the lighting is correct. They don't have to try and CGI the lighting, which they obviously couldn't do in the 90s. So the lighting is bouncing everywhere it's supposed to bounce mostly, and that obviously makes it a bit more convincing. And
they've got the camera on a, as you say, like on like a sort of machine thing, a motion machine that makes it pan the same, a servo thing that makes it pan exactly the same way, because it goes kind of from left to right. So it must do that for each of the passes, exactly the same. Well,
you could shoot it with a wide lens and then pan and scan, you know, kind of zoom in and move around within the frame, but I don't think that's what they did.
I don't think so, no. Yep, so there we go. So we're in sick bay. Dr. Crusher's noticed he has a broken arm that he admits he set himself. He's quite proud of that. But apart from that, he's in pretty good shape, which is surprising considering 8 years by yourself on a deserted space station. But the captain arrives and introduces himself. Crusher tells Picard that he is indistinguishable from Commander Riker, and she doesn't think cloning's responsible due to zero genetic drift. If that's the case with cloning, how didn't she find Kahless was a clone in the last episode? Didn't she see any genetic drift?
I'm going to take a guess and say that the blood is 15 centuries old and it probably is a bit, you know, broken down, and they had to reconstitute it with frog DNA, and they probably just couldn't. They probably just couldn't tell. So
Kahless can now reproduce on his own. Yes.
Sorry, that's more fitting of a background.
Yeah,
so I'd say it just that with the little bit of what's breaking down of the DNA of the 15th centuries, that's probably covered up.
Jurassic Wharf. Very good.
Well, the thing is with when they're talking about the DNA drift, that's not for checking the DNA of an individual person. It's actually to follow the DNA changes throughout a population over time. So the way she's using it here is not correct. So that's not how it's used.
I see.
Yeah, in the what's the episode with all the clones? Well, you know, there's like 5
Attack of the Clones.
No, Up the Long Ladder, of course. You know, where they had the Mariposans. They obviously they take a copy of Worf and Pulaski, so it isn't the first time he's been cloned. But they do say the thing that you make a copy of a copy of a copy, and it keeps losing, you know, fidelity basically. And
like a photocopy.
Saying there's none of that. But yeah, like if you keep take a sheet out, photocopy, take a sheet out, photocopy, it's going to keep losing resolution. So what you're saying is there isn't any of that. There isn't any. You know. But I suppose a first clone from the source, you know, wouldn't have too much. You know, it'd be harder to see. The more times you do it, the more obvious it becomes. I guess maybe that's true as well.
So yes, there's zero genetic drift, and their brain patterns are almost identical, and they cannot be cloned. So yeah, there's no way of telling them apart. Picard assures Yellow Riker his chief engineer is reviewing the transport logs, and they will get to the bottom of this as soon as they can. And in the meantime, he assigns him some quarters, and he can go and relax. Yellow Riker is looking forward to using the replicators because the ones on the station haven't worked for some time. Good evening, Mohammed. I hope all is well for you, sir. Welcome along.
I was going to say for Trailblazer, but also Mohammed, they probably don't have bingo cards. They may not know about the game. We didn't mention it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you want to put the bingo link into private chat, Tavi?
So
StreamYard
basically, Tavi is constantly watching what I am saying and doing. And if I tick off enough ticks on it, you get a line, or you can get a whole bingo card, and there are points for that. It does influence the final score.
Yeah. Here is a link. If you don't have a bingo card, there's a link where you can get it yourself. There you go.
For bingo, I've got a questionable. I don't know the email of someone, and if your email for bingo is at iCloud.com, please verify that in the chat for me so I can make sure I allocate you points. I don't know whose person that is because the address doesn't include a name or a hint to who it is. So if you have an email that ends with at iCloud.com, please let me know.
So I did think, at this point in the episode, she's told us he's like perfectly healthy apart from his broken arm, even though he's been like trapped there for 8 years. He then tells Picard that, the replicators haven't worked for some time, so he's looking forward to having a proper meal. My mind went to the place of, well, I wonder if like the whole beam up got reflected back down, and maybe like Riker wasn't there alone for 8 years, but like the whole rescue party got duplicated, and now
that's a bit like the Stargate where they get the
only Riker's left. So what happened to everyone else after the replicators broke? Oh dear. Anyway.
That would also imply some funny and dark implications because you can become insane.
Yeah.
From eating human flesh, and no one bothers to ask him, hey, you've been down there for 8 years. Are you all right in the head? Step in anytime, Diana. Step in anytime.
It seems like he's just been away for a few weeks, doesn't it? He's just got like a bit of a thicker beard, and that's it. He seems perfectly fine. Well, yeah, you would think he'd be damaged, you'd say.
Tavi, Trailblazer saying that link doesn't work, and it doesn't seem to be working. Oh,
I know why.
Because you have open at the end of it.
I've done it wrong. Hang on.
So yeah, just
did I
there you go.
mail it?
No, it's me. It put in opens in a new tab on the end for some reason. I don't know why. That should work now, Trailblazer.
I'm trying it without the opens part, and it's still not happening. There. Oh wait, yeah, hold on, let me try that. Oh yeah, that's fine.
The new link should work.
Yeah.
Do you have bingo, Sean?
Well, I can hardly play, but I can influence the result.
Oh, that is true. Oh, that is right. Don't you dare! And I see you've changed your clothes, you sneaky.
When did he do that?
Yeah.
I didn't even
I
notice.
stuck off when you were talking for a second to see how long.
Oh my Christ!
You're being mean to me. I'm trying to do Maz's job. I'm trying to do the goose. I'm trying to tally up points and
Yeah.
you're pulling one over.
It was like a magic trick, that one. Okay, so yes. So later in the observation. Oh nope. The picture's gone the wrong place. Here we go. So later in the observation lounge, Geordi gives an overview of his findings. The transport chief 8 years ago tried to compensate for the distortion field by initiating a second containment beam. He had plans to integrate the two beams onto the transporter pad, but as it turns out, the first one worked just fine, so the second one was cancelled. Or so they thought. But it must have bounced off the distortion field and recombined on the station. So two Rikers for the price of one. Buy one Riker, get one free. So, in Geordi's opinion, both Rikers are the real Will Riker.
The real McCoy.
The real McCoy. Would the real Will Riker please stand up? Please stand up. And yes, and there's a pretty cool little graphic, like probably by Michael Okuda there, where you can see the beam going up and bouncing, and oh look, it's back on the planet again. Picard asks the crew to make the new Riker feel welcome, as he's going to be feeling out of place, and he's going to be with him for a little while. Good evening, Mickey. I hope you're well, sir.
Mickey, does your email end with iCloud.com?
Yes, you could be the one. You could be the one. Does your email end in iCloud? And also, Mickey, there's a nope, no, it doesn't. There's going to be a Monty Zone on Friday, Mickey, if you want to come along for a chat. Okay. So, after telling the crew to make the new Riker feel welcome, our Riker gives the look of, oh God, this is all a bloody nightmare. And he reminds Picard that they still have to get the data back from the station. And with all the other Riker's modifications that he's made to the science station, it's now going to be a whole lot harder. So Picard thinks he should ask the new Riker for his help. That would be the best thing to do. Here's a data picture, because data...
Ooh, look at those lips.
Data now says a really boring line about what systems the yellow Riker modified on the on the science station that I couldn't be bothered writing about, but I figured I'll still put a data picture in here just to please Tavi anyway.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I feel so creepy when I look at him sometimes, because in my mind I'm going, "Ooh, you've got a pretty mouth."
I know. I know. You know, he had 8 years and stuff, and they basically want to get information out of the data core, and he turned it off. Didn't consider it important. But he said in the first year or two he was always hoping for rescue. You think he just would have downloaded into a flash drive and had it ready to go?
You would think.
You know, he would have just had it like sitting there, so if he got beamed out with 30 seconds notice, he could just pick it up. He had 8 years to think about it.
Yeah. So they wouldn't have to send him back again to this place that's been his torture for the last 8 years. And what's he do as soon as they get off? Like, oh, could you be back down with us? He's like, no, fuck off. I'm not going back there. But no, he takes it all in his stride.
Yeah, he's extremely mentally undisturbed for someone who's lived in isolation for 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a quick chat with Deanna and a snog, and he's just like, all right. He's not like weirded out by people or jumping at shadows. He's completely just like, okay, 10 forward.
They haven't checked all the rooms. I'm pretty sure there's a Wilson style item in there that he's anthropomorphized and had a conversation with, and maybe they had a falling out right before now, so that he's fine.
Well,
also,
funny you should say that.
You're changing your background, Sean. You have to let me know, because your cam is really small for me, so I can't see your background in detail enough to decipher where you are.
You can't decipher what that is.
You can't see all the white. It's the Orville.
Oh, thank you. No, I can't, like, with the screen. It's so small. So.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, it's the Orville Bridge from the last season. It didn't look like that for the first 2 seasons.
I haven't gotten that far.
I didn't like the blue one so much. I preferred the original one, to be honest. It was just too blue and bright. I just didn't like it. Anyway,
big fan.
So
I'm on the TOS bridge, Tavi. Sorry.
Here they go, TOS. So Troy offers to go and make the new Riker feel welcome, which is nice of her.
She made a new Riker. She made 2 new Rikers.
Yeah, she goes to make Riker feel welcome, and Picard agrees that's a good idea. And I just feel that on that request, that's we flick back to Riker looking like that again. Why is this happening to me? I'll go make sure he's really welcome. Why do I have to live like this? So we go to Troy, calls in on Yellow Riker in his new quarters, and he's overjoyed to see her. And they cuddle, and he grabs her head. And funnily enough, I made a comment here. I made a note to say, I wonder if it was like a Castaway type thing that he like drew her face on a basketball and was just used to carrying her around like that. So then when he saw her for real, he just starts walking around his quarters with Troy's head in his hand. And she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, sorry, I forgot you've got legs.
Like I
it's
said,
been so long.
They didn't check all the rooms.
No. Yes. Basketball object failure, yeah. Something like that, yeah. But your head is so round and lovely. See, maybe he's not quite as He's not come out of it as unscarred as we thought. There we go.
Yeah, well, if you'd been hard up for 8 years, I think you'd be I think you'd be forgiven to trying to hop on someone. I'm not saying you should do it, but I think you'd be forgiven for being a bit jittery, shall we say?
Yeah.
And that was his lady.
It was.
He isn't just hopping some random woman. In his mind. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, that was the end of the act, so it's question time.
What is the square root of 247? No. Which ship was Riker serving on when the accident happened? Was it A, Ares? Sorry, it says Res. It should be Ares. B, Potemkin. A, Ares, and it just went A, Aaron, it just went away. So it's A, Ares, B, Potemkin, C, Pegasus, or D, Gandhi. And what nickname did Lieutenant Riker use for Deanna? He didn't call her by her name, he called her something else.
Oh, Tabby, have you got any goofs and trivias?
I do. I've made a table. Hold on. We're revealing mistakes here. So when they first beam down and they find Lieutenant Riker, they decide to take him back to the Enterprise. And Worf calls the Enterprise and says 2 to beam up. However, he does not define who else is beaming up with him. And it was strange because he also doesn't state that they found a second Riker. So even if the transporter operator could scan the area, there should be some confusion with scanning and finding 2 identical human males.
I love the idea of the transporter chief in the transporter room, like hitting his console, going, "What's wrong with this bloody thing? It's giving me 2 Rikers."
I would make an excuse for that. Given the highly dangerous nature of the mission and the interference and possibility getting locked on, they probably had an open comm to the transporter room. Because that would just make sense. So whoever's in the transporter room is eavesdropping on them all and is fully aware of the situation. I would think.
I'm thoroughly
like
convinced that
you still have to define, because they never say it when they say just 2 to beam up, and I'm like, what 2? There are 5 of you down there.
Well, normally they stand together. So whoever says 2 to beam up, they all stand really close to that person, so it's obvious. But I'm guessing it was just the open comm link thing.
That would be a really good little mini sketch, wouldn't it? Where you got 5 beam down, and then it's Captain Enterprise 2 to beam up, and they beam up just 2 random people. It's like no. Beam those 2 down.
Go back.
They had to beam them back down, and then he beams 2 more up. And he gets one of the right people this time.
I could see a whole Monty Python or Fawlty Towers kind of thing with them just keep getting it wrong, and then
he beams up
Tuvix and
some of the aliens by accident, because he's getting confused now. So instead of beaming up the away team, he beams up some random aliens instead.
Computer phaser, and he gets a fish, and he goes, "Sorry, I heard and I thought you meant fake fish," and they're like, "Why did I mean fish?"
You can imagine the personnel reports when they're grading people. Be like, all right, your percentage of correct beaming is a bit low. 65% this month. Yeah, you keep mixing up people. So that could be a thing. We got more trivia.
Do you remember in Spaceballs, it's like, Snotty beamed me twice last night, sir, and then they beam him with his arse on backwards.
That's right. Yeah. Seems like Mohammed has been working out at the gym. He's he's up to That
is a nice shot. Are you just cutting, Mohammed? Are you just cutting weight, or are you also building and putting on muscle mass? If he answers back, you might just let us know.
Yeah.
Well, he's gone from 92 kg down to 79, so obviously his muscle mass would increase anyway if he's hitting the gym in any respect, but certainly his body fat percentage is massively down.
Mm-hmm. In this episode, the Rikers are played by Jonathan Frakes, but he's got a photo double, and that guy is some dude named Jeffrey Much.
Jeffrey Much.
Kind of cool. You might
Jeffrey Much.
Second take Frakes. Second take Frakes.
Jeffrey Much. And the stunt doubles are Mark Ricardo and a Tom Morga. And also, it's not known what post Lieutenant Riker held aboard the Potemkin. But the script materials that they have used for the storyline, they suggest that he was the operations officer at that time. And for anyone else who's been paying attention, Diana gets a new temporary hairstyle this episode.
Oh,
her hair is very Greek. Yeah,
it is very curly, isn't it? Yeah, it does look Greek. Yeah, she looks very pretty in this episode, actually, especially in the I like the original 10 forward scene. It's very pretty purple dress she's wearing.
Yeah, well, that's very 80s, but later on her hair was more, as I said, curly.
Oh, I thought she looked quite nice there, and then as you say, where we got it's. I suppose we were just there, weren't we? Yeah, there.
Yeah.
It's looks very curly. So yes, Mohammed's just getting fit. He's not for the gains. It's for the fitness. Good.
Yeah, fitness hold pizza in my mouth.
Oh, I forgot to ask as well, what are people drinking tonight? Has anybody got any blood wine or IPAs?
I've got a magic invisible bottle.
I have got a bottle of red wine from Mazamet Bob, but I forgot to open it and pour it, so I haven't got it. But I did. It's not because I haven't got any. Mazamet Bob supplied me with one, but I forgot to go and open it. So I haven't got anything. Hint, hint. Spider Rainbow. Hint, hint.
I just got iced tea.
So we got some answers to the questions.
I'm sure we do. Yeah. So it was B, the Potemkin. The Ares. Does anyone remember the Ares? That one's a bit obscure.
The Ares.
I do. I have it written in my notes, at least. Sure. I think it's where he ended up transferring to.
No. Do you have a question on that? Or do I remove it? Sorry, 1 second. No, I removed that question. Yeah, no, that's the Gandhi, which is also there.
Yes, that's Gandhi.
No,
it's D.
The Ares, when he's talking about patching up with his father, he mentioned he was offered the command.
Oh, he was offered the Ares and he turned it down. Yes.
Yeah. The Potemkin is the right answer. The Pegasus.
Yes, coming up next season.
The Pegasus was the one he previously served on. And the Gandhi is the one that he was
Thomas
offered a
goes to.
on.
Yeah.
So it's all ships that Thomas or Will. Ares or Will were on, yeah. That's the hint there. Nickname was Imzadi.
Imzadi. So how many Imzadis did we get?
We've got me on the board, Monty on the board, Stu Plum is on the board, Maz is on the board.
And of course, Imzadi, as far as I know, just means beloved or betrothed. Something
It does, yeah.
But it's a little bit deeper in the sense that means special spiritual connection.
Right, I'm spinning the wheel. I don't believe it.
Oh my God.
I don't believe it. He literally
Would you, Adam and Eve it?
He answers 2 bonus questions this season and gets the winner twice.
You should retire there on 100% record.
Like, I haven't got one wheel spin in 2 episodes.
I don't believe that.
Believe it.
And if it does, you're gonna set it up.
Oh, sorry, I still put tail. I didn't correct my spelling, did I?
Bum deal.
There you go. There you go. Done it right this time. There we go. Okay, so that's 2 wins. 2 wins for the wheel.
Oh my.
Sorry, what was that?
The Tailblazer sounds a bit too much like oh my. Caponete.
Oh my.
Yeah. Okay. Act 2. I know we're on Act 2 already. So she tells them that they need to talk, but Yellow Riker's like, "Oh, I see. You're only on board because of him." But Troy's like, "No, it's not like that at all. We're only friends." She asks him if he remembers the last time they met at Janaran Falls and Beta Z, and how they plan to meet later on Riser. Well, that meeting never happened because Riker went and got a promotion. He was recognized for the rescue on Novala 4, and then his career took off.
Okay, this pisses me off, right? If Will Riker got a promotion for Novala 4, surely Thomas Riker is also entitled to that promotion, because they both did the rescue on Novala 4. So he would automatically go up a rank.
I know. He does get the bum deal in this whole thing, doesn't he?
No, I know he's lost a few years, but like if the both of them were identical when they did those deeds, and that's why they got promoted. You go, okay, you take your lieutenant commander, you get your medal for gallantry or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think I have to check the notes again, but I think they actually did something in writing somewhere, so it was acknowledged. But I would imagine that's later on when Thomas Riker is reinstated after Picard's help.
Anyway, Yellow Riker is aware of all this because he's been reading Riker's service records. He's starting to look a little annoyed at how this one event basically promoted one Riker and one version of himself and consigned the other one to a very different fate. Troy tells him that over the last 8 years his feelings have never changed and things never went back to how they used to be.
Oh, must have been. No, it doesn't matter.
What's that?
No, it doesn't matter. Go on.
Sorry, I just realised I read that line completely wrong. Troy tells him over the last 6 years their feelings have changed. I said haven't changed, have changed, and things never went back to how they used to be. So, yes. The Yellow Riker tells Troy the thought of her is the only thing that kept him going, and he tells her his feelings haven't changed, and he won't give up. He won't give up on them.
I think he is Rick Astley.
Yeah, he's never going to give you up. Yeah.
And you already have my dad joke. That was no good.
Yeah. And to that she says, "Good night, sir. Good night to you."
Good day.
Well, she's lieutenant commander. She can order boss him around.
Later in the transport room, the away team were annoyed because Yellow Riker hasn't turned up on time for the away mission. Riker's about to contact him to find out where he is when Yellow Riker comes rushing through the door. He quickly makes his apologies to an unimpressed Worf and Riker, and they beam down to the station.
Just before we move on, can we just go back to that shot one more time?
This one?
Look at the framing on this. They take the 4'11" Asian woman, and they put her under the step, and then they put Data front and center, who's the tallest of the three, and then Geordi. Why didn't they have Geordi below this, or Data below the step, and her up? Who framed it that way? Oh, LeVar Burton did. He can't. Oh, he couldn't see. He was in that scene. Okay, there's an excuse for that. That's fine.
Yeah, he was in the wrong end of the camera, wasn't he? He was at the far end.
Yeah. So, but like, why would you put the smallest person off the step? That's just bad blocking.
Yeah.
I know enough of that stagecraft to go, that's wrong.
For comic books, it has nice flow if you're putting in a text bubble up there. And that's about it.
Well, Worf's in charge, Riker's in charge, and he's showing authority, and he's front and center in the frame. That's fine. Mae Jameson will come back to, but as I said, Geordie's relatively short, so Brent should just be down the step, and the Asian lady should be up, and then it would all just be easier.
I don't know. They look similar size there, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure why Geordie looks so tall, because he's not a tall man. As I said, Brent is 5'11", 6 foot, and Geordie's only 5'9", so I'm not sure if he has lifts or what they're doing there, but they shouldn't look the same height.
I think
Maybe it's a force perspective thing.
Mohammed in live chat there is looking like he's auditioning to be a motivational speaker or something like that. Like, when you believe, miracles, they happen. Yep. Manifestations of destiny. Okay. So, yes. So, Yellow Riker's apologised and they beam down to the station. They arrive and they I saw this picture and I thought it was pretty cool. It's like a half-beam picture. So they arrive and they check out the systems. Yellow Riker tells them how he shunted the database to the main core. So they need to get working on the systems to restore access.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Oh, what the
Because
beam?
they had to take the three people in the back as one shot, then put a green screen in, then do Riker one side, then do Riker the other side, and they gave Commander Riker the thing in his hand, and they put his phaser in a different position, and then they made an effort to make them look different as well. Yeah, I like it. It's a good shot.
Good shot. So, as they work, Riker mentions that maybe they should let Dad know. And he tells them that he's now patched up things with the old man. Yellow Riker asks how their dad took Riker turning down his own command, and Riker admits he wasn't pleased. And Yellow Riker thinks that this is the first time he's ever agreed with his dad. Despite their best efforts, the servo link is damaged and they will have to go to the core and redirect the excess. Yellow Riker wants to stay and get the work done now, but Commander Riker insists on waiting for the next beam window. They get into a bit of an argument because Yellow Riker tries to disobey Riker's orders.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a clunky shot.
It's a little bit clunky, and also when they beam in here, once they actually arrive, Yellow Riker walks off here to the right, and our Riker watches him go. But you can tell
it's not synced right.
It's not synced anywhere near right, because if you try imagining you're imagining watching someone walk by, your eyes keep locking on to things in the background, so your eye movements are stepped. Where if you try following your finger going from right to left, your eyes would actually just make a smooth movement, not like a jumpy movement. So you can tell he's not actually looking at anything.
Well, how they would have done it in the early 2000s is they would have a tennis ball on a string.
They would,
and it's suspended, probably under tension so it wouldn't wobble, and they'd pull it across, and then you could follow.
You'd watch the tennis ball
frame by frame, and it would basically be at the level of his head, and you'd just watch the tennis ball, and it said they'd frame it out. But the early 90s, they weren't quite up to that level. I mean,
No.
It wasn't even the Matrix.
Night Trailblazer, thanks for coming.
It was the Matrix sequels they started doing that kind of stuff, kind of 2004, 2005. So yeah, it's about 10 years too early.
Yeah, it just adds that realism, doesn't it? Just to take it. Still. Yeah. So they have a good old argument. He yells in his face, and that's the end of Act 2. Question time.
Sorry, Tavi, I'm in Quarks. And okay, so where did Riker last say he saw Diana? A. Lake Gataria, B. Lake Elmar, C. Janaran Falls, or D. Opal Sea? And which TOS, TOS obviously stands for Those Old Scientists, cast member visited Mae Jemison on the set of TNG? And if you don't know who Mae Jemison is, Tavi is going to tell us when she's not eating.
I know the answer to these things. I'm doing really well this evening.
Actually, yeah, I'll give Tavi a minute to eat. She was in NASA and she was inspired by Star Trek, and obviously she's a black woman and one of the first black women in space. So you do with that information what you will. That might lead you to what the answer of who that might be.
Yeah, so ready. I have goofs and whatnot. So we have continuity there. When Riker is late to beam back to Navala Fort and runs into the transporter room, you see his phaser falling out of his holster onto the ground. However, in the next shot, the phaser is back in his holster. So, and
I didn't notice that.
And even in the photo you have back there, the first time Lieutenant Palmer beams the two Rikers back to the station, a quick camera shot of her control panel shows that it's completely blank and dark, even though she's punching buttons with beeps and verbally confirming coordinates, etc. And so she's supposedly reading on the panel. So I don't know if you scroll back to one of the shots, you can see that her workstation is completely blank.
I don't know if we'll actually get a shot of it.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
maybe it's like my phone, and you have to hit a button to make it power up. And then it just pops.
That's what we're going with. It's on screensaver.
That's how we'll do it. Or she could have it on really dim, because if someone's looking over your shoulder, you don't want them seeing all your business.
Or it's got one of those filters. We got filters on some of our monitors in the office where if a person's looking at sensitive data, they've got like a film over their monitor. It means you can see it if you're front on, but if you go off slightly to the side, it just looks like a black screen.
Yeah, I used to have those when I worked for. I used to work for a bank called KBC, and we used to have those in the branch. So you had to be dead on straight to be able to read the screen. You could just pull them off if you're dealing with a customer and you're flopping it back and forth. But it used to be awkward if you're in a busy room. There's a lot of people in reception. Actually, completely off topic. Okay, chief rambling. The office I was using today for printing, they have docks, so you plug all the cables into the docks, and you just plug one USB-C cable into your laptop, and everything works. And of the 12 desks, 3 docks are missing. And long rambling story, they got ordered and they got delivered to the branch because the IT people wouldn't come in and install them, so they just left it to me. But I just went down to the branch and I went, "Hi, I'm working in the hub upstairs, Sean O'Sullivan. I got some docs delivered here. Can I get them?" And they go, "Oh yeah, here you go." Like, never asked me for ID or checked who I was. They just handed them to me. So technically speaking, I robbed a bank today.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
And now you are on your live recording.
So you've now admitted that on live stream on the interwebs.
Yeah. No, I didn't really. They were ordered for me. But I think I could have robbed a bank. I didn't know who I was. It could have been someone else. Just came in and bullshitted them.
There's a skit where the guy at Code goes in and he's constantly robbing places, and they're like, "How do you get away with it?" He's like, "You just wear a tradesman uniform and carry a ladder around. No one questions you. You can walk in the building."
High vis and Snickers pants, and you just walk straight through. People have got into the Super Bowl doing that. Did you ever see the episode of Third Rock from the Sun where they try and rob a bank? And they're all dressed up like the village people, and basically in the end all they're doing is trying to rob the pens, and they can't because they're attached by a string.
I've seen all Third Rock, but I can't remember. Do you know, it's really difficult. I really want to rewatch Third Rock, but I can't find it anywhere.
Oh, even on the 7 seas of the internet,
Still,
I wouldn't do such a thing. But even on that, I can't find it. No, I can't find it anywhere.
Well, when I'm finished with Stargate and Stargate Atlantis, and I'm going to start Doctor Who all the way through again.
Talking of which, anybody watch the 60th anniversary?
I did, yeah. I the writing was a bit clunky in places. It was good, but I don't mind there being a message, but you just need to say it once and then get on with the episode. And Russell T Davies said it like 4 or 5 times, and that just drives me mental. So it's just like, no, get your message across. Yeah, you have a trans character, that's great. Now move on with the story. It's like, no, you don't need to keep reminding us and bringing it up again and again and again. Just do it once and it's fine. No, can't. Got to keep going at it. I don't know if you remember the companion Billy. Like the black girl, and she was gay, and she was in like 14 episodes, and in 10 of them she had to mention she was gay. Like every single episode she mentioned it. Like she couldn't just mention it once and move on, and it just really annoys me when they do that. It's like, say it once, we all accept it, it's completely normal. Don't keep just hammering it and making clunky dialogue out of
it. I nearly rebought my TV license for the first time in like 3 years to watch it.
Oh, it was fantastic. There was a few lines of really clunky dialogue.
No, after watching the Critical Drinkers summary of it, I was like, oh no. Not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Not happening.
I'm butting in, guys.
Sorry.
I've got more stuff to tell you.
Oh, okay.
Mazza has gone to a great deal of effort. She sent me 8 pages.
No,
of
okay.
content.
Sorry, I do
Oh,
apologize.
hear it.
Go for it.
You will hear it. Okay, we've got some plot holes. When the transporter is being used, it's supposed to work by transmitting matter as a particle beam or particle stream. So a duplication would mean that extra mass was created out of nothing. And like you mentioned before, Monte, Riker and Lieutenant Riker should have received promotion because they performed the same deed, but it's never brought up later on. We can only assume that it was handled when Picard took it up as an option for Lieutenant Riker reinstating his commission. In another scene, when Riker shouts, "I gave you an order!" excessively loud. I thought it was a cheesy scene to Lieutenant Riker. You can see, or one can see where the picture is joined. So it's evident at the bottom of Commander Riker's arm.
Yeah.
So you see the slice there with the black seam. Can you see? It's the one you've got up there. And I think we're safe now. The transporter is an actual astronaut. We've spoken about her before. It's Macy Jemison. And one of the cool things she did in honor of her Star Trek fandom was that at each shift, she would inform Mission Control in Houston by saying, "Hailing frequencies open." So that was really cool that she did that. So,
and she
the first astronaut to appear in Star Trek.
I have heard that.
And she credited Uhura and Nichelle Nichols as being an inspiration for her to pursue that kind of career, which is why it was Nichelle Nichols' pleasure to bring her onto set.
And a nice one here. As of this episode, each of the 5 regular TNG male actors have worn 2 different colored uniforms.
Ah.
I don't know if that's trivia later from any of your questions.
No. I suppose Data was in red, and well, we did see Picard in red, which is technically yellow because it was the old uniforms.
No, he was in blue in Tapestry.
Yeah, blue.
Oh yes.
Worf and Geordi started off in red.
Yeah. Deanna, went from jumpsuits to wearing blue. I don't know if that counts.
Worf and Geordi used to wear I believe red in the first season, and then they switched over to. Yeah,
they were junior command basically, and then they specialized. And chief of security and chief of engineering, and who didn't I mention? Did someone I didn't mention?
Okay. All the men folk.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, the women never changed colour, but Deanna didn't always wear a uniform. Sorry, go on, Monty.
Answers to the question, Sean.
Yeah. So it was C. Janarin Falls, and yes, it was Nichelle Nichols, surprisingly, and she's gone from 18 months. I just looked it up there. I was like, Jesus, has she got a year? No, she's got a year and a half.
A year and a half. Just, wow.
Really? Has it been that long?
Yeah, she went in June last year. I just looked it up because I was like, I couldn't remember. It felt closer. Yeah. 89 years of age. Yeah. Nice lady by all accounts. Never met her. I mean, she worked very closely with Gene Roddenberry. I said Michelle Barrett when he was married. But outside of that, she seems like a nice lady.
Yeah. Wookie says he no longer knows how to label Doctor Who anymore. I know what you mean, because you can't even call him Gallifreyan, can you? Because he's...
Oh, that timeless child needs a retcon.
The timeless child kind of ruined his character. He's no longer Gallifreyan. He's now an unknown alien. So...
Yeah, I'm really hoping Russell T Davies fixed that. But I don't have a problem with the trans thing. I just have a problem with them saying it 4 or 5 or 6 times. They just say it the once and then move on with the episode, and it just annoys me when you really hammer the point home too hard. And it's like, it's okay I prefer to see it and not say it. I think it's better writing that way.
Okay, so who do we put on the wheel then?
We've got me, Monty, Mazza, Stu. Did Stu not put in the show Nichols?
No, he didn't. No, he just answered C.
Oh, okay.
So no Stu Plum.
Are
But
we
you never know.
giving points to Mazza for her guess? I don't.
You did follow your strategy of C is always a good guess.
I know that's what I say. C or a multiple of 3.
Well, maybe one week I'll make it so
47.
no answer is a C, just to mess you up.
That would be unkind of you, and I will figure out where you live and egg your house.
I don't have a house yet, but I should do it.
Oh, yes, that was what the Critical Drinkers thing was about. It was about Davros. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, Davros. Yeah, they put him in for the comic relief thing, and he's walking now. They decided that someone being evil and in a wheelchair is a trope, and it's a negative.
They didn't want to portray a disabled person as being evil. So they made him just a white man. Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you run the odds in Hollywood, all the baddies are either English or German.
And it's...
Oh!
Tabby is. Well done, Tabby. Hey. Yeah, right. Okay, carrying on with Act 3. Oh, crikey, are we only on Act 3?
We are.
Crikey.
Jesus, I blame us because poor Mazza isn't the problem, it's the rest of us.
Yeah. I like the way you use the term us, Sean. Yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
In Troy's quarters, she gets herself a Valerian root hot tea hot from the replicator, only to find a message
Nice mug.
rolled up in a fruit bowl. The note requests her to meet at the transporter room at transport room 3 at 1900 hours. Yeah. Where she finds another note on a working transporter console this time. Which says it says it pulses unendingly through the night, seek out the crystal that powers our flight. So yes, she then heads down to engineering, and she finds another note on the dilithium chamber. Look how pleased she is. Look at her little face. Look how pleased she is to find another note.
Although
This scene bothered me a little bit because I'm going, that's the freaking dilithium chamber. What the hell are you doing touching it? You don't go around making scavenger hunts there. And then Jordy comes around like he didn't notice it was there. And I'm like, dude, you're a chief engineer. That little thing is the size of an incendiary device. You should be able to see that right away.
He's blind.
I would assume, as and I think the term is deck officer, the officer in charge of engineering, you'd probably be up for it, but you'd best damn get permission. You wouldn't just put it there.
Yeah, and then Geordie comes over and he's like, the dilithium chamber's giving out notes now. That's kind of weird. He looks generally confused about the whole situation. Anyway.
The HD upscaling really shows that prop for what it is.
Yeah.
It's polystyrene painted and with a black marker.
It's great, shut up. So the note reads, what the future holds, no one can know, but forward we go, forward we look, and forward we go. So, where does she go? Where does she go? She goes to... 10 forward! Yeah.
I was doing 10
forward. Yeah. So she goes 10 forward, she finds a golden box. When she opens it, I thought she was going to find chocolates. I thought, oh, he knows her. She got chocolates. But no, it's not chocolates. It's an etching of Janaran Falls, the place where she and Riker spent their last night together before the accident. Yellow Riker admits he created it himself using a fine phaser beam that he carefully adjusted. So he set the phaser beam to etching.
We definitely should have created a spreadsheet along with the Klingon dictionary of the
Yeah.
different settings that have been used on these phasers.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be 16, but I'm like, yeah, there's more than 16.
Yeah. The heat
You
rock
should see what a
setting,
sonic screwdriver does.
the etching setting, the sonic screwdriver can do anything.
Oh well, basically, there's the Doctor Who. Sorry, not Doctor Who. The Doctor has a prop called the sonic screwdriver, and it can open doors if they're not made of wood. And originally, that's all it did, is open locks. And in the most recent episode, he basically beamed a force field of like glass of special, like a force field of glass, and he pushed it out into a corridor, and then he pushed another one out into the corridor, and he walked through. So it gone from like opening locks or like shattering metal to break through a fence to, you know, magic force fields. it's a little bit overused. Yeah, that's the original. That's the 10th Doctor's one. The 14th Doctor is the same actor but a different Doctor.
The Tennant, the David Tennant.
Yeah.
This is the Tennant one.
Yeah.
It's
Where are you now, Sean?
It's my favorite. It's my favorite sonic screwdriver. So that's the one I've got. Spider Rainbow's got the next one. What's he called?
Matt Smith.
Matt Smith's one. It's gold and it's massive compared to that one. Yeah, it's got like claws that open up on the top and everything.
I'll tell you a funny one about the one you're holding there. The first season they had a prop of it, and the prop was really janky, but they obviously released a toy of it for kids and playgrounds and things, and they just from the second season on, they just used the toy, or they took a mold of the toy and they recast it or something, because the original prop was really bad, so they actually just used the toy.
And it's got a sonic probe on the end of it, a bit like a medical tricorder.
Oh yes.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway. Okay, what am I doing?
Where are you now, Sean?
What?
Where are you now?
I was in Central Perk.
From Friends.
You must be watching me on a really small screen.
What are you doing in Central Perk?
I don't know, just here.
Anyway, that was the etching. You've all seen the etching. So they talk in 10 forward for a while. Yellow Riker admits that it's strange to be around people after spending like 8 years by himself. And it's also strange to take orders again because he's gotten used to doing his own thing. But he'll have to get used to it if he wants to get on with his career again, because his career's gone a bit behind schedule, you know. Troy's like them, well, it's good you don't feel set back. It's like, well, I do. He admits he does. He does feel set back. But nothing's going to stand in his way of getting what he wants. Ooh. So Yellow Riker tells her how when he realised that no one was coming for him because they thought he was dead, how he dreamed that they had a memorial service for him and everyone was dressed in black. Troy is sure that her eyes would have been all red and swollen with crying. Anyway, he would look up at the stars and think of her, and he would imagine that she knew he was thinking of her. Troy admits that she was terribly disappointed when her relationship with Commander Riker ended and they grew apart. And as they moved apart, she too would look up at the sky and think about him. And who knows, maybe at some point their thoughts did cross. Later, Commander Riker gets called to Picard's ready room, where the captain tells him how Yellow Riker has talked to him about the away mission and accessing the main computer core under the station. Riker tells him he's already told him it's too risky and said that's not going to happen. But Picard thinks it is worth the risk to get the data and orders Riker to work with Yellow Riker to come up with a plan.
Worth the risk to get the
Data.
Yeah, always worth the risk.
Always worth it, isn't it? If you want a data...
I did write that. I did write in that my notes. I was like, okay, what information could possibly be worth risking this many people's lives after you saw a horrible conclusion to the last time, and somebody could be crushed alive under the earth? I'm like, what kind of data are they getting from this?
No.
Surely it's not worth the
We're
risk.
never told.
It's not worth the risk, and don't call me Shirley.
Yeah, yes. Well, to be frank, oh no, I'm not frank either. But instead of working with him, Commander Riker seeks out Yellow Riker in engineering and reprimands him for going over his head. Yellow Riker asks, well, what was Picard's decision? And Riker reluctantly tells him that it's to go with his plan. And Yellow Riker's like, so, you're pissed that the old man went with my idea then. But Riker denies it and gives him a lecture on how the chain of command works. Which is fair enough.
I don't know about that. If you have an idea, you're entitled to go to the big boss.
Yeah, why would that be an issue? I mean, you
Yeah,
should take
like,
it higher.
You know, if you're proven wrong or you've been overruled, like, but surely he's not respecting the chain of command by coming down on Lieutenant Riker because he's been told by his captain that that's the right thing to do.
That's true.
So yeah, I don't see his logic at all. It's like,
No.
look, every so often someone under you is going to feel strongly about something and you're going to go above your head. Occasionally you're going to be a bit blindsided and you just won't have the right perspective. It doesn't, you know, you just embrace it and say, sometimes you get things wrong. You're not infallible, and it's okay to be wrong sometimes. And, you know, generally speaking, if you're wrong, it's probably better for whatever the goal is.
And usually if you're going over someone's head, it's because it better be of such an importance that it was worth going over your commander's heads. Because like when I was in the military, it was frowned upon. You can go over your commander's head if you want to, but you better have a very good reason.
My point in this case is I didn't think that the reason was all that valid, because to get some data didn't seem like the worth the risk. So I thought Riker's original assessment was the correct one, to be honest. And I think maybe Picard was unnecessarily swayed into risking the crew's lives. But yeah. Which is why Riker's annoyed, I think.
Yeah, I would just be like, it's okay, just leave it. We'll come back in 30 years when it thins out again. It's fine. Like, it's
maybe
not
someone
that
else's
important.
problem.
We'll leave a probe and hopefully it's still there.
Yeah.
I find it so strange that they can't take a shuttle or a ship down there. There's no way that they transported every item that was required to put on that planet in these windows to build that place. So obviously a vehicle of some sort had to touch down there. I mean, I guess you could say they went down with suits and an industrial replicator, but I feel like there's no way you just beam down an entire station like that.
They have a shield that can go through a corona of a star. They can go through the Great Barrier. They can do anything, but no, they can't get through this atmosphere.
I was thinking more the kind of Norse ship kind of thing, you know, where they had a ship and then it'd sail it somewhere and then they'd turn it upside down and that would be the hall they'd all live in for the first couple of months while they build their village. So they could do something like that. It would be a one-way trip down, you know, but you couldn't get it back up again.
Okay, so later, Troy and Crusher are working out using the Mokbara, and Troy admits to being a bit confused over her feelings for Yellow Riker. Crusher likes, go for it, girl. You go, girl. And Troy's like, I knew you'd convince me into it. And then, lo and behold, guess who shows up? But yes, Yellow Riker. Just so happens that he's decided to do a program whilst they are. So Crusher makes a quick exit left. What do we know about that wall in the background corridor there, Sean?
It's 4 panels instead of 3.
So what does that mean?
It means it's the one that it's the wild wall. They just move around to fill in the
It's
gap.
the fake wild wall. Yeah. I knew you were going to mention it, so I thought I'd point it out there.
I wasn't actually, but yeah, well done. Yeah, it's obviously the holodeck / shuttle bay.
It's White Riker, yes.
Yeah, this bugs me. How do they know which one it is?
Go
Well, you
Power
can-
Rikers! His beard.
His
Honestly,
beard
he's got
is
the
completely
extra
different. Yeah.
beard.
Did you not notice the beard, Sean?
I'm not seeing it.
Okay, well, the side bits on Riker, like, come down to here, and are sculpted out
Okay.
along here, and then come up. So he's got a big, like, gap there. And also, Riker has just got a little bit of hair in the middle here, and it's like bald there and there. So they filled in his beard completely below his lip, and they filled in his cheeks.
So basically, all the place where you see the makeup.
So
Weird makeup.
if we just if we go to the where we saw him side by side a minute ago, hang on, where is it? That where he like yells at him. Oh, well, that's it there. No, there. There, look at his cheek, and look at his cheek.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't notice that at all. Okay.
And if you look at it, well, you can just make it out there below his lips, like you can see skin there, like you can't there. So,
Well,
yeah.
They must have been gluing it on and taking it off. Because
What do you think did he film all his shots? Did he grow it out and then film all his shots?
It'd be really hard to sync stuff up if you did it all and then did it back the way. You know,
Yeah, I think it must be like just glued on hair. It's a really good job though. You can't tell.
No, it's a little bit too square. That's the only thing.
No, you can square it off like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Anyway, that's your beard action for today. I think it does change the look of his face quite a bit, actually, that extra bit of beard. But anyway.
You can actually see the little bit of white line, I think, where the glue is there. Maybe I'm wrong.
Anyway, yes, Yellow Riker compares her moves to Tai Chi Chuan. And Troy explains that this is what Worf teaches Klingon martial arts exercises, the Mukbara. And so they compare forms, and Troy takes Riker to the ground with predictable results. And there's the predictable results.
Oh.
And that's
in my mind, when you said predictable results, I'm automatically hearing sound bites from Mortal Kombat, like "Get over here!"
Finish her.
No, it's more like yeah.
Or finish him.
So it's question time.
Okay, so which transporter room is Deanna directed to? A1, B2, C3, D4. And I needed a question, sorry. Thomas Riker's ancestor, Thaddeus, was saved from death by what godlike being?
Thomas Riker's ancestor.
Now this is from Voyager.
Crikey.
Oh, damn it, Sean. Redo those immediately.
Can you do them the other way around?
Okay, well, I mean...
No, it's all right.
No.
It's all right.
I said godlike being, so I mean...
Okay. I know I've got it. You've just given me the answer. Thank you very much. First, I'm going to guess the first one and use Tavi's strategy.
Well, it's the most. The first one is the most common transporter room that's ever talked about.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with.
If in doubt, go C.
C's are multiples of 3, and that one right there, it's both
It
boxes.
was just screaming 3 at you, wasn't it?
Yeah, if I
It
have
was
no
like
clue, that's what I
divine
do.
providence.
If C doesn't look right, okay, what's a multiple of 3? So.
Okay.
Well,
So,
actually, C and was also the only one that was a multiple of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Double down
Well
on
done,
it,
Sean.
so.
Okay, Tavi, anything from this act?
No, we actually brought up all of this stuff for.
Oh, nice. Nice.
For this. Let me scan through again. Make sure. Well, I mean, they did talk about this episode was created because they wanted to go into the relationship in between Diana and Riker. They wanted to fill that out a little bit more instead of the will they want they small patches of interaction they had before. I don't know if this was before the novel Imzadi were put out though, because they did do some beta content. They wrote some books with that.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a series there. Yeah. Ah, very good.
CQ. Navy reference. Oh no, Air Force. Air Force.
Chief Quartermaster.
Well, I was thinking. I'm thinking Air Force. CQ was our command quarters.
Oh, okay.
Imzadi was before this. This was published in 1991.
Ah.
So it's actually not a bad book, but yeah.
I like the way you managed to grab that in all of 20 seconds. It was that time.
Well, I've got my bookshelf of Star Trek books back there, so yeah.
You got the Fury books back there?
Probably. It's not going to stay. For some reason, I've gone blue now since I held this up in my camera.
So my color has gone off. I've gone green as well. I don't know if it's I don't know what's happening there. Maybe it's because I changed costume, but I think it just sort of happened. I'm not the right color anymore.
It's just
StreamYard's doing some color correction and it's knocked me off entirely.
I'm trying to reset it. That's a bit better, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay, so answers to the question.
Yeah, it was C3 and it was Q, but although it was Q2 or Quinn, but I will accept Q because they're all called Q. And if Ruth was here, she'd be up my arse over that and over the technicality. So I can't say no to that. Yeah, Q is fine, but it's the other Q.
So we got Monty, Tavi, Maz, and Stu Plum. Monty, Tavi, Maz, and Stu Plum.
The lovely black hole that is Wookiee.
And the black hole that is the Wookmeister.
Black hole, sun, won't you come? Wash away the points. Wookiee, 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 Wookiee.
Oh, skin of your teeth, Will.
I thought it was going to be Wookiee then for a moment. I thought it's going to be a Wookiee. I'm just going to stop my camera and see if I restart it whether it will come back here. No, it's just not. It's gone for a funny colour.
Yeah, as I said, I've gone green as well, so I look like the Joker. Look at my hair. I didn't do anything. Just my colour correction has gone off.
I know.
But you're not feeling well, Sean, and Montalban is a bit down.
I don't know why.
Tavi, do you know it's roughly 1.2 light seconds from the Earth to the Moon?
Is it?
Yeah, it's just a random space fact. No reason.
Oh. No.
Act 4.
Jesus, that's loud.
Sorry. Act 4. So we ended on a shot with frolicking about on the floor, and Act 4 opens with Riker staring out of the window at 10 forward. He feels a disturbance in the Force, and
I know what that disturbance is.
yeah,
It's that there are 2 Rikers on that starship, and we have gotten no Riker poses or over the seat leg movement.
not
2
one,
Rikers,
not one.
not a damn one Riker pose.
It's insane.
Did you know? Sorry, we already had an actor fact, but you know Will Wheaton used to do it to copy him because he figured Wesley would be copying Riker, so therefore he copied Jonathan. he used to do the same thing.
Yeah, very good. So in time forward, yes, Troy comes to him and he tells her she doesn't have to ask permission. He's fine. But Troy's like, we've had relationships with others in the past, but this one hits a little differently.
She should have just said, I know. Ugh. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you nothing.
I know. Riker admits to thinking about the choices he has made since the new Riker had come on board. And he asks her to be careful. And she's like, she knows what she's doing. But he reminds her that he knows that he broke her heart. And he also knows that if the other Riker had been the one that escaped, he would have done exactly the same thing and made exactly the same choices given the circumstances. So, you know, she should bear that in mind.
I don't ever remember these chairs having arms on them, but they managed to find a pair. Yeah. Also, the match. Speaking of pair, I see the match pair thing and the other game. The I forget the name of it. Is there in the shot?
Yes, it is.
I don't remember seeing these chairs with the arms on them. I only seen the
No,
ones
me
like
neither. I remember seeing the match pair. I know that
they're a lot higher backed as well. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just the particular shot they brought them in. All the rest of them are the normal ones. We see them reskinned in Voyager.
So later in Riker's quarters, Riker, Dare, and Worf playing poker. Riker's fleecing them of their chips. Yellow Riker comes a calling, and Riker invites him to join the game. So he decides he sits down and plays a hand. Starts off with Yellow Riker replacing 3 cards. Worf replaces 4. Giving Data pause because it shows everyone that Worf's got absolutely nothing in his hand. Riker sticks with what he's got. Yellow Riker bets 50. Worf instantly folds, and Riker matches the 50 and raises another 10. Here's a Data pick of Data dealing cards, just for Tavi, really.
Thank you. I feel
Also,
love.
the cards he's dealing are Chem Arrow cards. Blue. Chem Arrow blue. You can buy those. You can buy those exact same... Well, not the ones he touched, but they're still in print. The Chem Kent cards that are used in other episodes are not in print, but the Chem Arrow ones you can still get.
Oh, I don't know what happened to that picture. Number 21. Did it want to come out?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you want those cards, they're out there.
Nice.
Nope. That picture doesn't want to come out. Okay. So Yellow Riker accuses Riker of playing it safe. So he advances. He raises another 100. This time Data folds. Riker raises another 20. And Yellow Riker now accuses him of settling for second best. And he raises 300. Commander Riker is now convinced he's bluffing and raises everything he has left, and Yellow Riker folds, telling him he always gets the better hand in everything, and he walks out. Later,
Riker was straight up petty for that whole match. I'm like, you a petty bitch, Riker. Petty bitch.
They're both equally petty, but I mean, it just goes to show they're both Riker, isn't it? Because it's just, They both have slight assholey tendencies.
I would have loved the episode because, I would imagine him being so positive about all these different situations that he goes and sees another Riker and they're like, oh, twinsies! And then they go around the ship like with this good bromance.
Identical hand twins.
Sort of like, yeah.
Eventually, the romance. Diana's there going, "I've missed you. We have so much history," and he's like, "Yeah," and then turns around and just makes out with himself.
Sort of lower deck vibes to it. That does. They go drinking together and they pull a planet.
I know you don't mind spoilers, so I'll tell you this. There's an episode late in Voyager's run. You know the AMH, the holographic doctor. You know who he is. Mm-hmm. Well, basically, he gets beamed sent back to the Alpha Quadrant. He meets his father, and he's playing off him, but they're obviously both played by the same actor. And Deanna has to get in the middle of them, her and Barclay. And in a lot of ways, it's very similar to this episode, in many respects. And two characters with brash personalities brushing off each other. So look forward to that because you probably remember this one when you get to it.
I would have a hard time not asking my duplicate to take one of my shifts at work. Or just, watch the kids while I wash and dishes or something.
Well, do you know the actor Rami Malek who played Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah.
he's got a brother called Sami Malik. And
Never-
apparently, Sammy had to do a dramatic reading or something. Sorry, a brother, a twin, and he had to do a dramatic reading for his course in college. And Sammy came in and did it. Or sorry, Rami came in and did it. And Rami has obviously gone on to great critical acclaim. But he basically, he just sat in for his brother, and nobody caught him.
Brilliant.
Dude got his degree.
Later, Yellow Riker visits Troy in her quarters and tells her he's got a post on the USS Gandhi, who we mentioned earlier, and is leaving in about a week. He tells her in 6 months he'll be able to bring a family on board, so if they get married, but Troy's like, I've heard all this before. As well as being skeptical about the whole thing, she's not sure she wants to leave her life on the Enterprise. She likes it here. But Yellow Riker won't remain on board whilst he is still here, meaning Commander Riker. So they decide to give it some time, and he leaves. And leaves Troy upset that she's in pain all over again. And that is the end of Act 4 and question time.
Whoop whoop.
In which episode of Deep Space Nine is Thomas Riker next seen? A. Defiant, B. Duet, C. House of Quark, D. Move Along Home. And the bonus question: in Lower Decks, who is targeting ex-Starfleet officers, including Thomas Riker?
Oh man, I haven't been watching Lower Decks. I don't know that one. That
It's-
was a low blow. That was a low blow, Sean.
Well, you could do you a favor because you're off the wheel, so you can't get a you can't get a Wookiee.
Abuse.
Well, I think I know the answer to the multiple choice bit. But who's targeting ex-Starfleet officers? Including Thomas Riker.
From the most recent episode of Lower Decks. Most recent 2 episodes.
It was an answer to a question a couple of episodes ago as well.
Yeah, he very much was, yeah. The guy who's not Thomas Riker.
It's not Thomas
Or-
Riker.
Not
No,
Thomas Paris, excuse me.
He's not Lorenzo. No.
Oh, you're getting there.
Oh, I know.
He was filmed. He was in the episode The First Duty.
That's lack.
Something like that.
He was in the
damn
He-Man
it.
film with Courtney Cox.
He was. One of Courtney Cox's first acting roles.
Yeah. Michael Westmore did the makeup.
It was a shame. It sucked, really.
Oh, it was awful, but obviously Courtney Cox went on to bigger things. Robert McNeil went on to bigger things. Michael Westmore went on to bigger things, including reusing some of the Skeletor masks for TNG and Deep Space Nine.
What was it about that era, and a lot of eras actually, when they take an IP that was like a toy range or a comic or something like that, and they just go, well, let's take it out of its setting it's supposed to be in, let's redo all the characters, and let's make it look nothing like it's supposed to look. They'll
Well,
love
actually,
that. The fans of the show will love that.
Well, Canon Films, the crowd that made it, I saw a documentary on them once, and herself actually you have on screen there. Marina Sirtis was in one of her films, and low budget, and they ripped her clothes off and had her fighting a crowd, because
What's the film called?
in the 80s. I don't know, but
Damn
I'm
it.
sure you can Google it. Rena Sirtis naked, you'll find her. But my point is that they made kind of low to middle budget films, and people on the way up or on the way down were willing to do them. They were trying to make it into the mainstream, make it into the big time. There was a time when B movies existed, when not everything had to be a blockbuster that made $500 million. You could make a film for $20 million and make a profit on it in today's money. And yeah, that time is gone. It's either a blockbuster or it's nothing. You know, the idea of you making a small little private film and, you know, like say Shawshank Redemption, just it doesn't happen anymore.
They did the same with Mario Brothers back then. They like made Mario Brothers, but had none of the like. It was all about like these dinosaur alien things. It's like, what the hell is this? It's like, nothing like Mario Brothers.
Although the recent Mario Brothers movie, smash it. It was great.
It was good. Yeah, it was good.
Nice one. Ooh, I do have an error. When playing poker, Commander Riker raises from 50 to 60 and then later on 100 to 120.
Yeah.
This is not permitted.
Oh.
Poker rules require any raise to be at least as much as the previous bit or raise. So he would have had to raise by at least 50 in the best case and 100 in the second.
Yeah.
Already bullshit.
I don't necessarily agree with that because it's less common now. Back in the day, they changed what version of their poker they're changing every hand, and whoever the dealer was would set the rules on how the bids were set and all that. So
Hold on, I wrote a note on that. Let me see data. Yeah, let me see.
whereas now you go out and you play Texas Hold'em the whole night. They go, oh, this round's Texas Hold'em. This is
Yeah,
5
they
cards.
declare it.
You know, they literally just change it round by round, depending on whoever is dealing the cards. They'd make
But
up
data
their own
did say
rules.
it was 5 card draw, no limits. Maybe the no limits applied to the raising.
No
you
rules
could
on the
go up
raising.
as well as down,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, should we have the results? I can't remember what he was called. I know who it is, but I can't remember his name.
So it was Defiant, and it was Nick Locarno.
Woohoo!
Yeah, he
Wookiee,
was
it is you and I on the wheel. Face off.
I thought it was fun that Nick Locarno, who obviously has his own double, not that everyone is able to see it, did actually go on Thomas Riker. It was a nice little Easter egg. I like that.
More.
More.
If you make it really small, it did build the stress. Yes.
Oh no way! Oh, we need an applause meter for that.
That was right on the line. I was
God,
sure thinking that
damn
was
it.
Wookiees. Oh, the suspense.
It was nearly Wookiees. Wookie
That was
nearly
my
took
Russian
it.
roulette round.
Yeah. So.
Wook hasn't had the spin of the wheel all night. He's been on it the whole time.
No, he hasn't. Okay, we're into
one more spin.
the final act. The final act, everyone. So the away team are back down on the science station for their final attempt to retrieve the science data that's really important to them that they got to risk their lives for. Riker takes Yellow Riker to the computer core underneath the station. There's a nice little scene between Data and Worf where Data asks Worf what would he think about having a double of himself, and Worf doesn't think they would get on because, well, he's not easy to get along with. Data just agrees. Worf looks at him like, you're not even gonna try. Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
I'm an android and I don't even get along with you. And I don't have feelings. Messed up.
And Data agrees with Worf, commenting that Riker is easy to get along with, but they still seem to struggle. Worf suggests maybe you would see something in yourself in the double, something that you don't like within yourself, and maybe that would be why you don't like him. And it gives Data something to think about. But it's quite a nice little scene. Help expand Data's appreciation of humanity. At the core, Yellow Riker detects an ion leak and laments that he won't be able to have time to repair the leak and retrieve the data. All is lost. But then Riker goes to the conduit and switches the conduit off and fixes the problem. And Riker reminds him...
8 years.
Yeah, he's been there for
Ali,
8 years.
don't you future space people ever use the bathroom?
Yeah, he reminds Yellow Riker not to give up so easily. They make their way across the bridge to the core, but as they make their way, the bridge collapses. Yellow Riker nearly falls to the pit below, but Riker manages to pull Yellow Riker to safety, and they restore access to the computer core.
Don't pull a Captain Kirk.
Yeah, don't do that. I did think maybe there's one take of that where they did let one of them die, just so they went back to one Riker again. But
that is actually one of the ideas they had. Originally, they were going to have Commander Riker die, and they'd have to take
Riker.
Back. Yeah, Data would be first officer.
Yeah. Which I was 100% behind. I would have wanted to see that. Data in red.
I know, but Data's character works because he's like, he gets all the data. He gets all the data. He does all the analysis and his computer terminal there. That's where he's like key, isn't he? I can't imagine him being first officer and then having Riker sat in Data's place and then Data going, "What's wrong with his star that's in front of us?" And then Riker having to work it out on the control. It doesn't seem right, does it?
Yeah.
Could you imagine Lieutenant Riker
security officer
on the workstation?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he'd be ops officer. Yeah, but he just wouldn't be dual science officer because he was ops officer before. It makes a certain kind of sense. Yeah, they toyed with the idea and then they realized it was stupid and didn't do it. But,
yeah, and the thing is, all the sort of journey that Riker's been through over the past 6 years would just be wiped out. So that would be
a bit Battlestar Galactica with all the copies. Do you know? Speaking of Kirk dying on the bridge, did you know the guy who plays Bashir, Siddiq Al Fadil, or
yes.
Alexander Siddiq? Do you know who his uncle is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. His uncle is Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah.
Clockwork Orange / killed Kirk guy.
Yeah. Dr.
You didn't know
Saran.
that.
Dr. Saran. Yeah. I might have mentioned it once or twice before. I've talked about it.
Oh, sorry, we did. Never mind.
Only after being a Siddiq for a while and then looking at Malcolm McDowell. McDowell a few times. They actually do look a little bit alike.
They do.
Well, there's an episode of DS9 where Siddiq is in old age makeup, where he's turning 30. Oh God, the horror! And he looks exactly like him.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, there's Data and Worf retrieving the data. Now everything's connected, and then we get Captain's log telling us that all the data was retrieved, and he doesn't say it, but we assume that everybody beamed up. The important thing to note in the log was all the scientific data was retrieved successfully and then leaving the system. It doesn't mention whether we left anybody behind this time or not, but we assume they all got back safe and sound.
I mean, they've got extras, so if one doesn't make it back, it's like, oh, we still got one.
And they've got a method of. Oh yeah, there we go. Look. Let's put that on the big screen. There you
go.
Ew. Yep. I mean, when you put them in the old age makeup, it's uncanny. But I make that. I make that joke all the time. Oh God, I'm big. I make that joke all the time with because my brothers are twins, so I'm talking to my nieces and nephews, and we're doing something silly. I was like, hey, don't take risks with me. There's only one of me. Like mess around with my brothers. If we lose one of them, we have a spare.
Do you think you're feeling your big Irish head right now? Isn't it?
Yes, I have a giant potato head. Yeah. The slight receding hairline as well doesn't make it look any smaller.
No. I've got a slight receding hairline. I don't know if anybody notices, really. But,
I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong with my colour correction. It's just messed up, but I'll worry about that another day.
Okay. So, yes. So we're in Yellow's quarters, and Troy visits and tells him she won't be joining him, as she doesn't want to give up her life quite yet. Riker then interrupts them. Again, he's feeling a disturbance in the force. His face there kind of says it all, really. But he gives Yellow his trombone and offers him good luck. But he says, I wish you luck, Will. But Yellow Riker tells him that he is not going to go by Will. He's going to go by their middle name, Thomas. Riker admits to never liking that name, but Thomas kind of likes it.
Yeah.
Because they're different after all.
This scene reminds me of toddlers when they're first learning to speak and interact socially. When you're there for the entire time and you're like, hey, you're trying to interact, they're hiding behind mom, they don't like you. But the second you're saying bye, they're like, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye. And then this one,
That's so thrilled.
Riker bitchy the whole time, but now you're leaping. Oh, bye. Here, I got gifts for you. Get the fuck off.
Thomas grabs one last kiss from Troy and tells her that he will wait, and tells Riker to take care of her, which he says he will. And after he leaves, Troy looks upset, so Riker takes her by the hand. And in my head canon, he takes her to 10 forward and gets her some chocolate or something. Something like that. And that's the end of the episode. Done. Oh, so we got our final question time.
That was almost the Terminator. You went.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Wow, 2 bars and I lost the beat.
Okay.
Okay. What type of radiation is coming out of the conduit? Excuse me. Tetrion, Metreon, Theta, or Ion? And what was the name of Data's double he meets in Nemesis?
Okay. So, whilst we're getting some answers in, we're at the end of the episode, so if people want to start thinking about what they'd be giving this episode out of 10 as well, let us know in chat. And is there any last points, Tarikins, for this episode? Any idea of how it went down? Was the reception of it any good?
The reception. Wait. The reception of this
episode, yeah. Is there any notes on that?
Yes. Hold on, I got a lot of pieces of paper here. Mesa!
Banco!
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen
I
Franco in a while.
literally have 8 pages. But anyway, I can still go on, okay? We got continuity here from Act 5. So after the bridging collapses and Lieutenant Riker is pulled up and crawls over Commander Riker, a long shot shows that the stunt double's legs and feet haven't gotten completely out of the shot before Lieutenant Riker stands up. Oh, that's weird looking. Plot holes. Data has this long discussion with Worf about why someone would be upset about having a duplicate of themselves around. And Data by this time has experienced this with his identical brother Lord and has his own opinions on how uneasy it is. But
that's true.
But at the same time, I do also in that same moment go, yeah, but that's not the same. He doesn't have an identity crisis because for Data, Lord is a totally different entity from himself.
Yeah.
Different model. He feels so in this one. I feel like
they look the same.
I don't know about that because he does say I am not less perfect than Lore in the sense, he believes himself to be inferior, but his father does point out to him, you're basically the same. It's just a couple of morality kind of rules that are embedded in your psyche that makes it different.
I guess so. And then, some spoilers. There's no reason to install a computer core inside of a set of unstable caves next to an abyss in a place so isolated that a bridge access has to be built. So why did they do that underground? I don't know. Maybe
geothermal power.
That's exactly probably what it is. And revealing mistakes near the end, just after Will gives Thomas a trombone. you can clearly see the residual lipstick from Counselor Troy, and it's on Lieutenant Riker's lips in the exact shade worn by Diana. And this is puzzling since Troy never kisses him after arriving at his quarters prior to that moment. So it's not until the lieutenant is about to leave that they kiss. This is obviously they've shot multiple takes on it. And hold on, let me find the reception. Yes, the producers praised LeVar Burton's directorial debut. And LeVar Burton, he remembered, and I quote, it was a lot of pressure, but I felt I rose to the occasion and delivered. So directing the episode was the most fun, the most exciting, and the scariest time that I ever felt on the set. So that was his. And Renee Echevarria commented that it was a very romantic story and obviously a lot of fun for Jonathan and Marina. And Brandon Braga approved of the installment. And his quote was, "I really like Riker and I enjoyed breaking this with Jerry and Renee. And I was very moved, as is common with Renee's scripts. So my theory is a TV show is in trouble when they do an Evil Twin episode, and one could construe this as an Evil Twin if they hadn't already done it." So, but this is not Evil Twin.
It wasn't a typical Evil Twin episode, though, was it? It was kind of like... It's kind of nice as well that they kept him afterwards, because it's usually with these types of shows you expect like the evil twin or the anomaly to have rounded itself off by the end of the episode, like and not exist anymore, like be killed off or whatever, or never happened or something. But the fact that, you know, they keep him and he just goes off to live his own life. It's just like,
well, it's kind of it's a wonderful life kind of thing, you know. You know, in a sense, or even the episode Tapestry, you know, they're showing you your life could have went on more than one path, so in a weird roundabout way. So yeah, I think it's more down that line than it is the Evil Twin kind of show.
More important question is, how many standard size hot dogs would it need to run the entire length of the Enterprise? It's
right, so assuming it's, what is it, 8 inches, which is, no, it's not 8 inches. How long is a hot dog?
What kind of hot dogs do you consider standard in Ireland?
I say, how big's 8 inches? It's about that, isn't it? Is that about 8 inches?
Well, the only time I ever ate them was...
That's what I tell... Oh, no.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Okay, 30.5 centimeters. So, what's that? Yeah, about 32
anyway,
to a
whilst
meter.
Sean's working that out, Bingo's closed now.
About 16,000.
Now we've got ship
roughly.
layout done. Bingo's closed, so you can calculate the scores for that and add them to the scores on the other thing. You've got your spreadsheet. Tavykins has got a lot of working out to do now, so we'll just fill whilst Tavykins works out all the scores. I'll take this away and I'll get the spreadsheet ready. So, yeah.
Well, I almost had another question, which was the other holodeck transporter clone in Star Trek, and I didn't use it.
What was the other transporter clone?
Yeah.
It was Kirk when he was split in two.
Well, that's not what I was thinking of. That's not really a clone. That was kind of, he was split into two different people. I'm talking about duplicated.
Duplicated.
It was the Boimlers in Lower Decks. One of the Boimlers, one of the Boimlers stays on Lower Decks. The other one gets promoted to full lieutenant on the Titan under Riker, and then his death is faked, and then he ends up in Section 31. There's a whole thing about it.
Why'd you have to go and get transporter duplicated? I see the way.
Oh, you need to pitch that to Starrect. He will make a song of that.
It's very good, Tabby.
Do you know, I'm going to pitch that to Starrect right now.
Yeah, send it to him. Send it to him. You can send them this episode.
Oh yeah, actually, I'll wait till it's finished and I'll take the clip and I'll put it in and I'll send it to him. That is genius.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, so we haven't got any scores yet.
No, I gotta let go. So I'm still doing the bingo
No.
cards. Sorry.
Mazza, Wookie, Stew. Sorry, Stew, not Stew.
And each person's got 4. So I gotta.
It's complicated working this out.
Yeah, the scores are tricky.
Yeah, Maz makes it look easy, to be honest.
Yeah,
Did we have the answers for the last question? I don't think we did we?
Sorry, it was D Ion and it was B4.
So who have we got for the old wheel then?
Well, Tavi's doing her thing. So, is it everybody? Yeah.
Okay, Monty was on it. Tavi was on it. Maz was on it. No Stuplum. He didn't have any idea for that one. So no Stuplum. So it's just Tavi, Wookie, Monty, and Maz. So.
Oh man, Mazza cleaned up in bingo.
No Stuplum. Right, I'm spinning the wheel. Who's going to get the last bonus points?
To be fair, I went out of my way to go on the Tavi.
I don't believe it.
What?
There you go, Tavi.
Fair,
you get the final
I
bonus
threw in
points.
as much bingo as I could.
Tavi, says Wookie. Well done, Tavi. You done well there.
Oh man. I'm sorry, guys. It's taking me a minute here. It's a lot of comments.
So I'll just start talking about the episode a little bit. So I have to say, I thought it was a good episode. Watching it back again, it's been quite a while since I've seen this. This is one of those episodes I do watch from time to time, and I do quite like it. I do feel a little bit Rikered out though after the. It's been quite a Riker heavy season, the latter half of season 6.
Yeah,
really.
There's been a few together. Yeah.
Because we had the one where he was like, in the play and going backwards and
Yeah, it was
forwards.
only 2 episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but those were so good that I really appreciated them, and it's after the trauma of that reboot episode where he's like getting all the flashbacks in a dream. I don't complain anymore. No more.
Yeah.
Well, he's barely in the next
Future
one.
Imperfect. Was that one? Yeah, no, I think yes, he's not that much in the next one. But it's actually quite good. If you like Riker, it's been a good few episodes, really. But I think he does play the two really well off each other because it's quite difficult when you're playing against yourself. I'm not saying it's difficult playing with yourself because, but if you know what I mean, like just getting the responses right. And I particularly like the scene where he's talking to himself in engineering. And I thought that the way it's timed, like they time it really well because they're having an aggressive conversation and without any cuts or anything. And they do follow it really well.
Yeah, well, I assume they just tape it.
Tape it.
They have a stand-in, and then obviously they play it back so that you get it bang on.
But sometimes when they do those things, there's like a slight pause at the end, or something. It feels kind of stiff, Yeah, but it's really quite well done in this one, I thought.
If you put it on a tape and you run it 10 or 12 times, it's like a song. You'll start hitting the beats eventually.
I've seen so many times where this has been done in other science shows and it just doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. But that's just because they didn't have enough takes. 10, 12, 15 takes. They'll get it.
Well, Jonathan would have had problems with this then if he was directing, wouldn't he?
Very well, yeah.
Two takes.
You'd have two takes and, and then have them direct as well. That, wouldn't work. Geordie's in 2 scenes. That's fine.
Yeah. We haven't seen a lot of Geordie, have we, this season? Geordie's been a bit quiet.
I don't know. He's probably doing stuff with Reading Rainbow or other things. He was a busy guy. He didn't just have Star Trek.
Yeah.
Wookie's come from last week. He said my sneeze last week blasted him into this week.
Oh, well, thanks for catching up with us.
I propelled him. How you doing, Tammy?
Okay, I'm putting bingo points in. Hold on. Okay.
What did you think, Sean?
You want my score?
Of the episode, what did you think of the episode?
It was an interesting premise. I score kind of two ways as always. The episode on its own and also how it influenced Greater Trek. The episode on its own was slightly above average, and they did a lot of tricky camera stuff. And for Geordie's first time giving him all the camera tricks, he must have had a good DP with him, because it's very unusual to give him something so complicated. And as I said, the second part of that is, up until the most recent episode of Lower Decks, this is still being referenced, so obviously in the greater lore sense, that's pretty special. We're still talking about it 2 years later. It's still relevant. Although there's a bit about Thomas Riker. I mean, they put him in that. Spoilers for Deep Space Nine, but they put him in that Cardassian prison for life, and they go, "We'll get you out, Tom." And even the writer said, they really feel bad they never resolved that plotline. But in Lower Decks, they obviously show he did get out, that he did exist. But yeah, so that they need to tie up that plotline, I think. Somewhere, haven't redeemed himself. We didn't see him in Picard as Uncle Thomas coming to visit Thaddeus and Estra.
No,
he just wasn't there.
No,
he wasn't mentioned once.
No,
or they could have played a little photo double thing with the changelings, that there was 2 Rikers. They could have brought him right back in and made him a huge plot point, and I'm kind of annoyed they didn't, because it would have been so good, but didn't happen.
No. I do feel though that with Lower Decks, you could count anything as lore establishing in TNG, because literally Lower Decks tregs through the whole of TNG and references it in some way. Like even the smallest, most innocuous thing is probably been in Lower Decks somewhere.
I take your point.
So what becomes quite an art and they've referenced that thing becomes, well, it's just a case of reference bingo, isn't it?
But imagine that scene where Riker gets caught in the cage with Deanna and is trapped by the changelings. But what if it turned out it was Thomas and not Will, and Will was still on the ship and Will busted him out? I mean, that would be more Russell T Davies, Doctor Who kind of area of thinking. But how fantastic would that be? And, after 30 years, you just bring him back and drop him in. It would have been so good. But
yeah,
they didn't do it. No,
they didn't. No.
They just didn't do it, and it would have been fantastic. And I really feel, and that was one of my fan theories, that they'd bring in Thomas Riker, and it never happened. I was also hoping to see Captain Kim, and apparently Captain Kim was written in, and then they cut him for budget, and that annoyed me. They just used Tim Russ twice. Anyway, sorry, Tavi.
I have points done. Finally.
Phew. Right. Let's get this show on the road then. Who come first?
We've got Tavi, yours truly, with a 10, 460 points.
Fix.
Could be. We've got number 2. I bet you're going to change your tune now. At Monty.
Hey.
Oh, no, wait. Sorry. It's a lie.
Oh,
yes, no. It's correct. It's Monty.
Oh, yay.
Monty was I got mixed up because next is Maja. With 380 points. She hopped up real quick because she got a plus 20 in bingo card.
I must say, she's done really well. She wasn't here most of the evening.
I was really playing the bingo hard.
Yeah. One bingo card had 3 wins on it. So I was like,
nice.
Yeah. Stu Plum comes next with 7 points. And he's got 325. And I think it's just because he didn't answer one of the questions. And Andy, also known as Trailblazer, aka Tailblazer. Got 6 points. And in Thai, we've got my hubbiness, Mr. T. He pities the food that don't watch TNG, or he pities the food that don't play bingo. And he's got a +5, and Smiley Rainbow +5. And that's it.
So unless Monty has an exceptional bingo, it's pretty tied up still.
Yeah, I mean, there's only two left of this season, and so there's only 20 points on offer. Yes, it's looking in the bag now. It's looking in the bag. I will just do a quick re-thing of the scores, because Trailblazer has got some there for the first time, so he's gonna shoot up the rankings. Was it that one? That one. Column B. That one. There we go. Unfortunately, because Ruth didn't make it this evening, she drops out of the top 3 for the first time.
Oh, unlucky Ruth.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yep. Of course, Mazam and Bob's got our extra 100 Smiler points as well, so...
Yeah, well, in the case of a draw, they will matter.
Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. And, yes, Trailblazer has gone all the way up from... He's even overtaken Muhammad. So there we go. Okay, so what are we scoring this episode, then? Where are your paddles? Have you got your paddles?
I'm ready for a paddle.
Meza count as the audience, or is she counting in with the host?
Oh, she's counts in with the hosts. Yeah. So, are we ready?
Yeah.
10. No. 3, 2, 1.
7, 4, 18, 96.
878. Wow, that's quite high for you, Sean.
Yeah, as I said, it has a lot
That
of
was
lower
an
in it.
8
so.
from Maz. And who's that one? What did you say, Tavi? Is 7?
7.
Tavi. An 8 from Sean. And the audience has given it a 7 from Wookie and an 8 from Stu Plum. So what's that? 7.5?
Yeah, I was on a 6, but you kind of just talked me up. I don't
So
know.
that works out to be 8 at the moment, unless anybody says any different. So yeah, that makes it quite a strong episode for this season. I mean, I say strong. It puts it in about 5th place, maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. 6th place.
Oh,
Which, yeah, it's about right.
Not bad.
Wookie put in the chat, to be honest, now that she's not here, we can all agree that Bryce is such a noob. Those are fighting words.
Those are fighting words. Our beautiful Ruth is not a noob.
Good.
Yeah, so I think that's a fair reflection, I think, of... I think we'll have a look. We've got next week. So what's next week's episode, Sean?
We have the only one where we see the back of the... whatchamacallit? The runabout. Timescape. Yeah,
yes,
they're on a runabout, they're on the Romulan ship, time is reversing, time is going forward, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the only time, well, where canonically it wasn't redressed as something else, we see the back of the runabout.
Yeah. And we get the speech, we get that conversation with Picard, don't we, where he talks about the...
He's always talking and talking in one long and broken sentence.
Yes, no, Stuplum.
Yes.
Mazram Stuplum.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's next week. So we've got that, and then the week after, we've got the Descent 2-parter.
Yeah, is Brent in that episode?
In Descent, I think he might be. be.
And who does he play in that episode?
Data.
Does he play anyone else?
Might do.
Oh, okay. Well, I look forward to that.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it's all part of Star Trek lore.
Yeah. The lore whore was with us.
The lore whore. And I'm thinking then after that episode, I think we
She's
might
straight
have
up chicken necking.
Yeah, I can't remember. So what's that work out as dates? I'm just thinking of leading up to Christmas. So next week it's the 6th, isn't it? So that's Timescape.
Yeah,
and then
6th and
13th will be Descent Part 1 and 2.
Yeah,
then,
well, I mean, the 20th, the Wednesday the 20th, I suppose we could still do that. That'll be...
well, I'm thinking about that episode, though, is just going to be a season in review. We won't have an episode. We'll just have a bit of just a chat.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of an open mic night kind of thing. That
an
makes
open
more
mic
sense
night
rather than
about season 6 and just talk about some of the episodes. And
we start the new season in the new year. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, then we'll have a break for a couple of weeks and then start in the new year.
Yeah, 702 is Liaisons, the one where it's not great. Shape-shifting alien tries to seduce Kirk Picard, and to understand what love is. Yeah, it's not great. It's fairly boring.
Say, Ricky's like, you were beautiful and super informative tonight, Tavi. Yes, she was. She was super informative.
Stop.
Yeah, well done, Tabby, on double duty.
Yeah, double duty. Well done, Tabby. Well done.
Actually, triple duty, really.
Well, doing bingo and doing the trivia and goofs and keeping scores and
And lusting over data. I mean, there's a lot.
That's an important job to do, to be our resident
I can't
data
lust after Brent
luster.
the way you can. It just
Doesn't work.
What I'm
Doesn't
there
work.
for. What I'm there for. No one looks
It's too
at
Jewish for me.
Pretty mouth as much as I do.
Remember, everybody, for those that are interested in all things supernatural and UFO-ish, to join us on Friday for another Monty Zone. Got some interesting videos to look through and things to talk about. So join us for that. Except for Wookiee, you don't have to. So no, he doesn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't, because you'll be accidentally classified as a Bigfoot.
A Bigfoot, and he'll be trying to be photographed in the wild, and
That may be a problem.
it could be a problem. Yeah, we don't want to misidentify a Wookiee.
Yeah, use the wrong pronouns.
No. Well, thank you to Wookiee for coming along and joining in as always. Thank you to Mazim and Bob. I hope you had a lovely time up with your future in-laws. Thank you to Mr. Tavikins for coming along and winning some bingo. Thank you to Smiler Rainbow. Thank you to Mickey for coming along, G-Star for coming along. Thank you to Mohammed. It's good to see you too, and I hope everything's going well with your tourist information office or whatever it is you're doing. I'm not quite sure.
And the workouts.
And the workouts. Getting
More
those
passion,
gains.
more pressure.
Yeah, well done, Trailblazer, for getting some answers right to questions and winning a few spins. Yes, we'll see you all again this time next week for another episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. Good night and Mazram.
Ewa, Mickey.
Good night. Good night all.
Good night,